When introducing a poem the other day, you spoke of letting go to universal consciousness. Would you expand on that theme? The idea of letting go is one that many people can connect with. It is often said one must let go and let God. Yeah? I was, what shall I say? I was rather surprised to hear that the idea of letting go was one that many people can connect with. I would have thought it rather difficult, but well, maybe my experience isn't the same as everybody else's. Or perhaps I understand letting go, in another sense. In a Buddhist context, we think of it in terms of letting go of mundane things, letting go of samskara, letting go of the things that usually we are attached to, which more often than not isn't really very easy. But of course in the six element practice, and maybe it all arises out of that, we let go of the earth element, water element, fire element, and so on. And we let go of the limited consciousness. I think this is all familiar ground to everybody, isn't it? We let go of not so much let go to the limited consciousness, but let go to the limitations which were placed on consciousness, which is not to say that there is a sort of universal consciousness left. It's better not to try to think or to speculate what is left, but to let go, of the limitations which we place on consciousness, and then, as it were, see what happens. Mm-hmm. That could be thought of in terms of a letting go to universal consciousness, or rather a letting go of the concept of universal consciousness. Not thinking that when we let go of the limitations we place upon consciousness, we will then be confronted by or will experience a universal consciousness. Let's just see what happens. And as for let go and let God, this does seem a wee bit theistic to me, even though God has a small g here and not a big one. I suppose it means let go of your self-will and let God take over and do it. Well, maybe that it is helpful in some context for non-Buddhists at least to think in that sort of way. But I think it's rather difficult for a Buddhist to think in that sort of way. Anyway, any comment on all that, especially on this idea of letting go? Is it an idea that people find it easy to connect with?
But I think it's a different idea. I think what people usually mean is let go of responsibility, let go of any discipline, let go of any training. I think it's actually quite often it means something quite negative.
Is it possibly for some people associated with a certain understanding of Dzogchen? Dzogchen?
Not so much here, I don't think.
Well, the idea is very common in Alcoholics Anonymous and
right.
programs. It's quite common for people to, as they say, let go and have suddenly have an experience of the archetypal realm.
So what does one let go of?
It's quite difficult to say, isn't it?
Perhaps it differs, for different people.
Expectations. Expectations.
Perhaps. But of course, as I mentioned, in a Buddhist context, it's letting go of one's attachments, the things that one is attached to.
In 12-point programs, it's usually to do with surrender, isn't it, to higher power, as part of the kind of working.
They actually say let go and let go.
But this is what is quoted here,
It's to do with surrender, accepting that one can't get through, as far as I understand it, it's to do with accepting that one can't overcome problems on one's own level and you have to shift a level.
Right.
I think it's an idea that can be quite useful, but I think it's also an idea that can be very easily misunderstood.
Right. Because sometimes one is trying to pursue things or solve things rather forcibly along the wrong sort of line, and the best thing you can do then is just to stop, as it were, to let go.
think in terms of teaching meditation, it can be a useful phrase, letting go, just
of
mental constructs.
Sort of neurotic obsessiveness that people get, so it's letting go.
Well, letting go of problems, which may not really be problems at all. Maybe
So
things you've simply made into problems.
it's also the so-called sky-like attitude that things come and go like clouds in the sky.
But it can be that, but I suppose one has to be careful it doesn't represent a sort of abdication of personal responsibility. Then moments may come when one feels absolutely at the end of one's tether and unable to do anything at all. And one then just has to stop, in a sense. One does, well, it's not that one lets go, right? It's not even that one has to let go. One is in a situation where one just can't do anything. So you then presumably have just to wait for something to happen or for some insight to disclose itself. Or for a friend perhaps to speak a few pertinent words. That also maybe is where spiritual friendship comes in. Anyway, let's pass on.